Good morning and welcome to the Morning Connection. It is Thursday again, and we are here live at the Ligony Club, hosted by our Ligony Club family and JD's Urban Pub. Good morning, Catherine. Please give us plenty love today. And good morning to the crew in the house, Mr. Producer and Mr. Engineer. Good morning to both of you. Good morning, Pastor Percival.
Good
And to
morning.
all of those who are with us on air and on
Okay.
air and online. We thank you for joining us. Um, let us organize our thoughts and be ready for the day. Thursdays are usually fraught with one kind of excitement or another, but each Thursday that we are here, we thank God for the sunshine. I love the fresh cool. It's a bit cool this morning, a little cooler than I expect. Um, Pastor Percival, what's your mood for the morning?
I'm good. As I pointed out to you, I got my car back on Tuesday,
Mm-hmm.
and then we traversed to look for my father-in-law, who is 80. He's in excellent health, and that was great. And so as we come to this day, we yesterday was
And you left
the
your wife in the
anniversary.
country. You're not adding that.
Yeah,
Gotta
but
give
she
her a
wanted.
special shout out.
Yeah, she was there um enjoying herself. We took some pictures, some funny pictures, and then we previewed our our family shirt yesterday, and
Oh, so
people
that was the first.
first
And you,
time.
you said it to me as if, oh, we've had this for years.
No,
The
never.
family
We've
shirt,
not had it for
the
years. It was
family crest.
right. So it was a good feeling. So it's a new day. The sun is fully up over the mountains, and it's in all of its glory. It's releasing. It's very warmness. The
It's
warmness.
warming me up
It's
because,
warming me up because in the
yeah.
morning it's still a bit chilly. So it's good to be alive. And some Jamaican students came home last night.
Okay.
And there was an official greeting party for them. The Minister of State in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, that's what it is, was there to
Okay.
greet them. I
Okay.
saw the thing.
With an
And
apology for trying to get them to sign a
I,
loan
d- I, d-
agreement.
I, d- I don't know. I'm not going to get into that. But I'm
You know,
so
I am
glad
so
that they
glad
are
they're home.
home and they were in all of their good. So it's good. It was a nice, it was an happy ending to a story that could have resulted in serious disaster. So we are grateful. And for me, our theme this week has been trusting God. He's like a rock, a bedrock. You're not gonna move, and 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 what that does for me is that I'm not afraid. I say all the things that are happening, I'm not afraid because I know that He has gone ahead of me and He has prepared the way. So, what's on your mind? Yesterday was the first. Yesterday was the first, right?
No,
No, yesterday
yesterday
was the
was the
second.
2nd of
It was Ash Wednesday.
March.
It was a,
Yeah.
a interest. It was a
And we
hot
took a
national.
break, so sorry we didn't announce it properly that we were gonna take advantage of the public holiday, but we had so much catching up to do
Hmm.
on the administrative side.
Hmm.
The 60 and 60
Hmm.
initiative, which we have launched, needed some fine tuning in the back office. We'll talk a little bit about it. I think each morning we'll spend a little time to update our listeners and participants on how that initiative is going. But I was getting a lot of feedback from some foreign quarters with
Hmm.
suggestions on sources of funding for the community projects. It's just amazing how much resources are out there
Hmm.
looking for places to do good work. And just,
Okay,
yeah, so I think
that that's a that's
we're
a
gonna
good
have a lot of
that's a good
partners.
thing. That's a
And
good excellent
it
thing.
there's been like a deliberate thrust to getting communities activated because I mean we all know that it's people who make the difference, not government, not institutions, people.
Hmm.
And through the work of individuals, various institutions will flourish or not. So we had to do some of that. It is getting the right technology into the various communities
Hmm.
is a big part of achieving the overall
Hmm.
objective. And so that is a part that piece of it is what we at the Morning Connection are taking responsible for, getting the technology partners on board to add life to some of these initiatives. So I had to do some work on that. Yesterday, I have promised that as the communities come alive, we are going to ensure that they have the kind of connectivity that will allow the students and that will allow the entrepreneurs, that will allow families to enjoy the best of what this information age can deliver. So I had to do some work on that yesterday. What's on my mind this morning now, as I told you, we're looking at legacies and we're looking at it from two perspectives. We're looking at it from the perspective of the generations down the line or descendants. What are we laying up in store? What are we paying forward for our descendants to become great and to enjoy prosperity? And then we're looking at it from the perspective of ourselves as beneficiaries.
Mm-hmm.
Are we stepping into the legacy of our forefathers or are we disappointing them? When you think of the struggles of the current generation, the questions that get asked follow that template.
Mm-hmm.
Are we making the most of the legacy or are we abusing it, rejecting it, disappointing those who said, I'm sending this down line for my descendants? It's occupying my mind this morning because yesterday, having taken our break, we did not get to celebrate the first anniversary of
Passing off.
the passing of Boniwelo, whose work I've been studying in recent times because, of course, we've had Maxine Stowe here with us for the last 4 weeks. And naturally, we couldn't have been around Boniwela's personal friend and business manager and not been drawn into an understanding of the values of the man, the work of the man, and what he hoped to see emerge downline, the legacy.
Okay.
And because we've been celebrating Black History Month, we've had to look at some other legacies because history is all about legacy, really. When you think about it, sure, you see great institutions and you see mega projects, and you look at the infrastructure, you look at institutions, and you can see the DNA, the fingerprints of the architects, and really that is a part of their legacy, the impact that they've had on persons, on the environment, on institutions. So that's the conversation that I want us to delve into this morning. And then we're going to spend some time celebrating Boniwelo and others whose legacy continue to speak in a strong voice today.
Okay. So, but and as we were preparing, the difference between legacy and inheritance
Yeah.
is such as a very important thing, and as somebody who speaks about that a lot in regards to the conducting of funerals. And you ask yourself, what is the
Lord.
legacy that you are leaving behind? Is it just inheritance? Because when you go, they think of legacy as inheritance in terms of being a synonym of each other. But inheritance is just something that is physical, and I've seen persons who have not really left any money, because that's when you think of inheritance, you think of
What is the gift?
the money, but the legacy that they have left behind in terms of the values that they've passed on to their children. And you see, like I did a funeral recently, and so you saw the children and the grandchildren, and you saw the values that he has passed on to his children, and they in turn were passing it on to their grandchildren and great-grandchildren. That is what legacy is about. Legacy is not only about the thing you give to them, because you can't put your finger on a value, but you can see it coming out in terms
And you can
of
see the wealth that it produces.
and it's created. So it just brings to mind the difference between legacy and funeral and legacy and inheritance. I think legacy is a bigger it's a bigger umbrella, and inheritance is something that falls under the whole thing of legacy.
Legacy.
Right.
All right. So, yes, I did challenge Pastor Percival to discuss with me the difference between legacy and inheritance. And yes, when it boils down to it, the inheritance that beneficiaries can receive into their accounts, whether it is a piece of land or some cash or artwork or whatever tangible object you can receive from the estate of a loved one.
Yeah.
That is only a part of the legacy.
And it
The
is-
true legacy has to be the person's impact on your life, on your values, on and on what it is that you can make intergenerational.
Yeah, and that's interesting. And you always, if you've left a good legacy, then people won't fight over it. You know, like they'll fight over the inheritance, the dead left.
Yes,
But
yes,
if you
yes.
have
Yeah.
passed on a good and excellent legacy to them in terms of the values that you have passed on to them, that is even greater. So when you're in Jamaica, what happens a lot of times is that people fight over the dead left. And we see that coming out a lot of the time. So even as we talk about Jabi, and there were
Oh,
yeah.
there were the news reports of yesterday. But can I let us identify our foundation as we're moving forward. Psalm 112 verses 1 to 2. I'm just going to read it. How blessed is the man who fears the Lord, who greatly delights in his commandments. His descendants will be mighty on earth. The generation of the upright will be blessed. I was looking for a nice rounded scripture to lay the foundation for what we're talking about. Why is it that legacies are important? What kind of legacy you want to be lining up? And then on the beneficiary side now, how do we ensure that legacies remain intergenerational and that we are not a disappointment to our ancestors? Is it time for the 7 o'clock break? All right. We'll return to this very interesting topic after the break. I think it is now 7 o'clock and we need to pay homage to those who support our work. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.